hearing these people on CNN saying that it's a right-wing conspiracy, it's I told that to my wife and she was like, I'm so mad right now. Like the fact that they said that. It's crazy that people actually think like that. Yeah, Tim Ballard. Thank you. Yeah, Tim Ballard. Like, it's and that's the reason why, like, that movie cost, I believe, Grae, I believe $14 million, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like something really like it's and it made, and I believe right now
it went past 100. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
The Sound of Freedom blasted 100 million at the box office, declared the people's movie, as early estimates show it besting Mission Impossible. Man, and Mission Impossible, like I heard it was really good too.
Yeah.
Right. So and this movie came out on July 4th. Right. And it beat Mission, the fact that it's beating Mission Impossible, and it completely destroyed what's it called again? The opening weekend for Dial of Destiny. Right. It definitely shows that, like, how, because this movie's, I would consider it an independent movie, right? And that's where it goes back to, like, independent comic content curators, independent movie creators, and stuff like that. It's wild, man.
That is wild. So this movie made independent, and then is it also more of a documentary kind of a feel?
It is it's a dramatization of something that happened in real life. So Jim Caviezel played Jesus. So in what's it called again? Passion of the Christ, he plays the Tim Ballard, and it's basically they're reenacting stuff. Of course, things are more dramatized, and
sure, of course.
But he said that the movie is overall, it's I believe they said that's about like 70 to 80% accurate.
Right. Okay. I mean, so I just, I feel like the fact that so many people are going to see this movie, that is, it's not really an entertainment kind of a thing. It's more so like bringing to light something and, educating you. It probably does have a little bit of a documentary kind of a feel. So many people are seeing that, and it beat out, these other films that are for entertainment. It's supposed to be, huge and blockbusters and that kind of stuff. That shows you, just how important this is, and how people do want to, help and be notified and be involved in that kind of a thing. I think that's an amazing accomplishment for this film. So, like, my hat's off for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie, but I'm going to read this for a little bit. See, distributor Angel Studios announced that Jim Caviezel's Sound of Freedom blasted past 100 million at the box office amid a week that has seen box office grosses increase from last week. In a press release, they touted Angel Studios, the platform empowering filmmakers with full creative control to crowdfund and create, has reached a new theatrical milestone. Its independent summer hit Sound of Freedom. That's actually pretty cool. The Sound of Freedom has now sold over 8.9 million tickets, and the film has now passed $100 million in office revenue. I believe they also have a pay it forward thing too. So for people who don't know what that is, it's a program they do where you can put in money to buy tickets for people who don't have the money to go watch it themselves.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool, right? I believe I didn't know about it until I believe Minority Home Steph from Geeks and Gamers. I follow her on Instagram, and she did the pay it forward thing. I'm like, what is that? And then I looked more into it, and I was like, oh, this is for people who can't afford tickets to go watch it, which is pretty damn awesome. I think me and my wife are going to do it, and if they're still doing it, we do want to support it. Like, even though we can't go watch the movie, we do want to support it in any way, right? Because the fact that you hear these people who are saying, human trafficking, it's not that, crazy. Hearing CNN saying that it's a right-wing conspiracy, and even hearing, do you know about the whole Nick Merckx thing with the Call of Duty thing?
I don't.
So that one, Nick Merckx is a big content creator. He plays Call of Duty. He has a skin in Call of Duty, and I believe he lives in Glendale. And he with the whole Armenian family protesting against a school that's trying to teach these LGBTQ stuff in like an assembly kind of thing. The parents came out and protest against that, right? And there's a huge thing. I believe the LGBTQ community and probably some Antifa folks came out, and they started fighting, and riots happened. And he basically went online and said, as a person who recently became a parent, I think they should just leave kids alone. And then Activision pulled his skin from the store.
Yeah. I actually did hear about that. Yeah, because he pretty much just said, leave the kids alone, that kind of a thing. and then a lot of people got pissed off and tried to cancel him, and then Activision pulled his stuff, and then I think weren't there like a few other pro players that kind of like tried to stand up for him and said, hey, like, you know, I'm not playing until you put his skin back in the game, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I believe it was a
Okay.
Cat Man was one of them, Dr. Disrespect, and a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it's still ongoing, right? It's still not
I believe
resolved.
so.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is when he says leave the kids alone, you know, and you already see people coming out on Twitter out of the woodworks, you know, saying, leave kids alone. Why you're attacking the LGBTQ community? I'm like, are you saying the LGBTQ communities are, are they pedos? Are you outing yourself?
Telling on themselves. Exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And like even like this human trafficking thing, like are you against it or are you for it? The fact that CNN came out and said right-wing conspiracy, like so
No, I mean I think it's super obvious, right? Like, you know, they are coming against the movie, and you know, people are trying to hide it and downplay it and all that kind of stuff. I think most of us know that it is a problem in this country. And you know, it's huge, it's rampant, and like, you know, even if you think it's a smaller thing or you know, isn't as crazy, it's happening, and we should bring attention to it. Why would we not want to? So for somebody to get mad at this movie, or for mainstream to be like, hey, like, you know, it's a conspiracy and trying to hide it or downplay it, that is very, very telling, and that is awful. And I don't know. I just think that you know, it should be obvious kind of where their allegiance is, right? And then I think the same thing what you just said. Someone saying leave the kids alone. You know, that statement is not a problem. Like, you know, we should be protecting the kids. And you know, so what exactly are you saying that this other group is doing then? It's exactly what you're saying, man.
Yeah, man. Like it's pretty wild that like like you hearing people who are like saying, oh, leave the kids alone. And he's like, oh, why are you trying to you're basically trying to kill off the the LGBTQ community, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Grae, how do you feel about that, man? Do you believe that like literally someone said it in the chat? It said it's basically a self-report about leave the kids alone. Are you attacking us? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's you just like you're exposing yourself already just by saying that alone. It's like, what more are you? What more? So what does that say about you as a person that we're not seeing? If already you're showing this in public, that's how I
exactly.
Feel. Like, yeah,
good point.
So it's like you're into this stuff. That's why you're defending it. I mean, that's what we're getting, right? That's just like, yeah. The fact that there's a lot of them defending this, like it's scary at the same time, but we have to push back. It's like, yeah, this is a real problem, guys. People are disappearing because for nefarious reasons, and we need to shed light on this because it needs to stop. Because like even with this this movie making it aware, it's probably still happening on a daily basis. Sadly,
of course, absolutely, exactly.
Yeah, like wow. I even get those like like those flyers and stuff like that. Like back in the day, those milk cartons. Have you seen me? And like back in the day, as a kid, I'm like I didn't think too much of it. It's like, oh, but they probably like wandered outside their house, they got lost or something like that. But now, like you see it as an adult, you're like, it's probably because of human trafficking. Like. And I mentioned this before, like for the folks who are new in chat, and I mentioned this to Grae a couple streams ago. So there was most recently there was what's it called again? There was a report on one of our we have this thing called like the Nextdoor app, right? So like it's usually an app that's usually around your area about like if there's any like crimes or like oh, be careful if there's a coyote outside, or I hear a person who's outside, showing themselves to little kids, that kind of stuff. So one of them was about a child trafficker that they almost got away. Like it was really close. So the mom was in the store or in a restaurant or something like that, and he's like, oh, you and your daughter needs to go to the restroom. Go to the restroom now. So the older sister and the younger sister went to the restroom, and they come back out. And then the older sister comes back out, and then mom's like, "Where's your sister?" And he's like, "She's inside still." And she's like, "Go get your sister." And then he's like, "I don't see her." So the mom goes in with her, and you see two sets of legs in one stall, one large one and one small one. So the mom opens up the door and like sort of like shakes the door open, and then when what she sees is her daughter already shaved bald in different clothing, and that was like literally minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is that if you don't know, a lot of the human traffickers are actually female, is because they're inviting, right? They're nurturing. They're naturally, the females. You don't think females will actually do this, but the female, most of them are females. It's because it's easier to approach kids as a female. So yeah, it was that close. It's literally minutes. They shave your head, they put you in a different clothes and make you look like a boy. And once you're in a truck, like you're gone. It's gone, and it's very, very sad. Like, and it makes me very upset. Like makes me very angry as a father. Like it's just seeing this, like this happening, especially states like us that are border states, California, Texas, and it's very scary. And I'm glad that we're shining a light on something like this, that's like you said, a documentary, but also a movie that's highlighting and casting light on what's actually happening, right? And we can't, like if I can actually put a meme on on my stream deck, like that the one scene from Breaking Bad with Jesse Pinkman's like, you can't keep giving away with this, right? It's just
they're
getting away with it, and it's right in your backyard, and it's scary.
I mean, Phillip, it's I'm hearing reports that it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, right?
Yeah,
multi-billion-dollar. So that tells you, how much effort goes into this whole, situation. There are people who are out there, and like you said, I think using women, that is like diabolical because we're more likely to trust women, they're more nurturing, all that kind of stuff. So like to use them and to use that against people and against children to trap them, that is evil. And then all the efforts that are used to like hide this and keep it on the low and keep it like underground, all that kind of stuff, like multi-billion dollars, that really just shows how just comprehensive this whole effort is. And that's scary because like there's people all over the place doing all these different things, and there's so much money that's being pumped in there. So people are willing to jump in that and to join it because it's ridiculous, man. So that's it's scary, and we absolutely should not be like trying to put this down or cover it up. So if people are doing that, it's very telling. They're exposing themselves. And I think people need to see this movie so people can just become more aware, and that I think it will encourage other people to try and step up and shine lights on this and help people to just be more aware in general.
Yeah, I agree, man. What about you, Grae? It's like, do you get, coming from the Philippines, do you get stories about like human trafficking over there? I know
yeah,
this is a different topic from what we usually talk about. Like, do
yeah,
you get any stories from that?
yeah. It's definitely a thing here too. It's just that it's probably not as reported too, and it it happens more in probably outlying areas in the provinces where there's more rebel groups there. And kidnapping is a thing here in a sense that they try to kidnap tycoons or people from wealthy families to hold them hostage. But I think the worst part is the messed up part here in the Philippines is that since the poverty rate is high, it's high here. So it's I hear stories that it's the parents themselves that want to sell their child.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So that's even worse if you think about it.
That's crazy. And it's funny because like when you said that the parents wants to do it themselves, is because the parents want money. And this is like a complete like out of left field. There was a scene in South Park. I'm gonna go back to South Park, and there was a scene there where I believe Paris Hilton like lost, like she was crazy, and she killed her dog or something like that in South Park, and then she needs like a new like toy or new animal to play with, and then she somehow got in contact with Butters, which is like one of the most innocent like kids in South Park, right? And then Paris Hilton, like heir to the Hilton, freaking crazy like business, She offers her parent, Butter's parents, like, would you sell your son to me for $100 million? And he's like, no, we're not. $100 million.
Man.
Right? And like, I know it's a joke, but like, that episode came out like 20 years ago. People would actually like, even people who actually do it for less. Like, if you think about it, even like $10 million, $1 million people would do it.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this segment of the Project Eggroll podcast. If you like what we do here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know next time when we go live. We do go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Once again, we are just getting started. Tons of more video to come. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.